man here is Chris, one of the instructors, very cool dude. Chris, we start this little demo off, but the first thing we find out is why is the bike really upside down?
They all end up like this sooner or later. This is kind of a bit of an icebreaker.
Just kick in there. Is his sound high enough?
Not hearing.
So, Simon, in the back room, we need someone below sound to bring the sound up on now, Chris.
How about now?
That's
all better?
Yeah.
You don't have to look at my face.
Okay. So the bike's on its side. What's the reason for that then?
Like I said, they all end up like this sooner or later. It's a bit of an icebreaker we do at the beginning of our schools down in Wales. We kind of get all the bikes and we lay them down, and it kind of tells everyone that it is okay to drop them. It's not the end of the world. It's best to, if it's going to go down, let it go down. Don't try and wedge your leg underneath it. Let it go down. Save yourself injury. Deal with the problem after. And the first thing we always want to do as soon as the bike falls over, switch the engine on. Because if you try and pick it up while the engine's still running, pick it up once here, and then once again over there, when it's fired itself across the room. So, engine off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use physics. We're going to get as far away from the wheels as possible. We're right on the end of this handlebar, wheel pointing to the sky, and up she comes. And then the big heavy bike becomes really easy to pick up. I know the right place to put it.
Okay, it sounds a big heavy bike, but we all know it's famous for having a low centre of gravity. What kind of things do you do to learn about that balance?
That's kind of our next lesson, is just getting people confident with the feel of these bikes. If you keep that bike in a nice upright position, it's weightless. There's very little effort to keep it upright. You're not fighting with it, and that's what we like everyone to do, is to come and have a little bit of a go and not feel the weight of the bike. Find out that actually there's a whole range in the middle where it's quite manageable. It's not too heavy at all. It gets a little bit too far and something is heavy. Keep it in that middle range, and they're really manageable, easy to use. Just trying to get used to walking around the bike, being in different places, holding onto different things, indicators, and having a bit of confidence, which means that you're always away from the bike. You're not kind of leant on it and trying to balance like that. Just having that confidence means every time you go near the bike, everything's a lot less stressful and you're moving around freely.
Okay, I would say moving on from that, we're in an awkward position here. I know it sounds simple, but I understand that some of the lessons that you do when you're approaching is literally getting on and off the bike. Why is that so important?
Yeah, it's funny, we have guys that have ridden for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And then one of the second lessons is to teach them how to get on a bike. We always feel like we're patronising them a bit, but there's a few techniques that we always use that make life a lot easier. First of all, we open the handlebars. We call it opening the handlebars. Right? You can see if the handlebars are twisted that way, I've got much less space and my arms all tucked up. Get the handlebars that way, I've got plenty of room, makes getting on the bike much easier. Secondly, especially if you've got little legs like me, we lift my foot over, we just go to that footrest. And that's a much more stable position there than trying to do the teeter-totter with your legs dangling either side. If you can always be confident enough to have one foot down, one foot on the footrest, it means that the time you get on your bike and there's a big pothole or a sloping cab on the other side, you don't do that horrible embarrassing fall where you topple straight off the other side. Just that footrest, you're good to go.
I mean, and you're quite short, aren't you? I mean, you're practically a leprechaun, really, aren't you?
Just not unnecessarily tall, like you.
Okay, well, I want you to, if you do a couple of little circuits there, and what we're going to do next is, we've all talked about the Dakar Rally there before, about Simon Pavey, 10 times Dakar legend. You often see people standing on the pegs, and I know that it's one of the things that we always see Dakar riders or rally riders on. I want to find out a little bit more about what's that all about. Why do you need to stand on the pegs? What benefit is it? So while I'm here, you can see he's using the pegs now. You can see already the clues because he's using his body weight. He's going really slow, he's in control, but it's all about body weight, clutch control, brake control. He's trying to steer me now. Can we pull it right back so that we've got a full view of you, Mr. Man? All the way back if we can.
Just if I can say, before we start riding, for those of you who are lent on the water, if you've got children, you just sort of pull back a little bit so you're not lent into the arena.
Yeah,
so
can you bring it further further back, Chris?
Further?
Yeah. Yeah, can you make sure that you haven't got your kids sitting on the side there, because health and safety wise, we don't really want some handlebars like flying in and touching someone or hitting someone, so you keep that in your heads. Thank you. Okay, pegs. What's going on with peg weight?
Standing up. The main reason we do it is because it looks cool. That is the most important thing with any sort of motorcycling. The other thing is we've got a lot of blank faces there, no one liked it, did they? Standing up, first thing you notice is your vision's much, much better. When I'm sat down here, I can see the front row of people. As soon as I'm stood up, you can see all the way over there. And some of the examples right in front of you, it's too late, you're hitting that one. And the other thing is, if you're looking nice and far ahead, you can always spot the puddles to splash them over your mates you're riding with. Again, most important. And the other thing we like to standing up is the control of business. On the road, we use our handlebars a lot to steer. Once we're off-road, not so much on the handlebars. It's all about these foot pegs. So we use pressure on those foot pegs, and that's where the steering gear weight comes from. It's a 236 kilo weight, and easy to move around. That means when you're on the trail, quickly turn the bike, change direction, where all your control comes from.
Okay, let's put this into action a little bit. You can see we've got these little cones down here, and I know that these are one of the squares, if you like. This is a set of cones set up with a square. One of the interactions with the bike, we're learning about clutch control, brake control, and also about your weight on the pegs, is to go around this square. Originally you'll go around it on the outside. The idea is to try and get a bit tighter and go around on the inside. So this is pulling all our little learning points together.
What we're doing here is we're trying to get our weight, we're using our weight to counterbalance the bike. To get it to turn cycle like this, you need to lean the bike in, you need to let the bike lean over. So at slow speeds, you need to put your weight to the outside in order to counterbalance the bike's weight. This is one of the things we do on level 1, and a lot of people look at it and go, oh no way, I couldn't do that. But within a couple of laps we have everyone these nice tight circles on the bikes and able to maneuver in real tight spaces.
I think you were showing off at the end there, weren't you? Leg completely off the peg. Okay, we're going in the opposite direction. All the weight is off that inside peg, all the weight is on that outside peg. Counterbalancing the bike allows the bike to go tighter and tighter into that turn. Okay, that's cool. Now, another thing I know that you do on day one is about getting people into the whole idea of the wheels locking, the back wheel locking, or also more obscurely, I think, the front wheel locking. Can we tell us about that, Chris?
Yeah, it's something we all try and avoid on place on the road. We don't like it when a wheel locks up on the brakes. It's scary. It's why we spend money on bikes with ABS now. But what we like to do is we turn the ABS off and we have a little go at feeling what it's like when you lock that rear wheel up. Feeling what it's like when you lock the front wheel up. And it teaches us a bit about how the bike reacts when the wheels are sliding. And it also teaches you how ineffective the back brake can be off-road. Once that wheel's locked, you don't really slow down much. So we like to sort of get everyone to feel that. And again with the front brake, those of you who ever locked up the front wheel on a motorcycle know that your own inbuilt ABS in here somewhere, it goes the minute that wheel locks, it's a bit of a horrible feeling. But the whole thing we're trying to do is get you used to that and try it and do it off-road in a safe environment. And the way we teach it is in a way that won't crash when we do it. You can get a feel for what that tire's like when it's locked. And then if it happens on the trail, it's a much easier thing to deal with rather than the big shock.
I think the great point also is that this is not just for off-road users. In other words, the skills that you're learning at the off-road school are really, really useful for road riders.
Yeah, particularly when you're approaching a roundabout and there's diesel on the road.
Okay, let's see some of that technique then. Back wheel locking, I think, at first. Makes you feel comfortable with that back wheel locking. Straightforward, nice and neat, though, very impressive. Nice and neat, bit clever. Okay, what about the front wheel? That must be pretty horrible when the front wheel locks. So notice what he's doing there. He's locking the front wheel, but then driving the bike forward, still on the pushing the bike, pushing that front wheel. We're totally looking very comfortable with the whole idea of the front wheel being locked. Nice one, Chris. Oh, a few round of applause there. That was very cool, very cool. Okay, nice one.
I can see the look of fear in my eyes, obviously.
Well, listen, a key word that I often see in the off-road school whenever you hear people talking about bikes and getting good on bikes, off-road in particular, is momentum. Why is momentum such a key word in the lessons?
Yeah, momentum, I mean, once we cover the sort of basic skills and done some good drills on that clutch control, throttle control and brakes, we then look to start going to hills. And our hills in Wales are a little bit bigger than this one, but just have to imagine that that's a mountain. And what we do is we build up, we start taking those braking techniques into downhill and kind of learning that if you can get the momentum away from the bike, go into a downhill nice and slowly, you can add speed afterwards. And if you go into the downhill too quick, sure we've all done it at some point on a bicycle or a skateboard when we were a kid, you go into a hill too quick and it's terrifying. So get that hill speed out first, and then control it on the brakes. And then when we go back up hills, we actually need the momentum on the uphill. If you can turn yourself onto an uphill slow, and not enough speed, and then try and add the speed on the hill, it makes life very difficult. So we're going to do the acceleration on the flat before the slope, and then let the speed carry us up. The flip side of that, of course, is if I carried all my speed up that hill, probably be somewhere in those people over there, I don't know how well they can catch me. So you want to arrive at the top of these slopes in control. We have a few drills like that where we just practice driving on the flat, getting to the top of the bank, in control and stopping, so that we can deal with whatever obstacle comes next.
Okay, let's have a bit of a flavour on it, Chris.
A bit of drive, then arrive at the top, stopping in control. The same on the downhill. We go into the hill really slow, and once I'm on the hill and I can see it's safe, let the brakes off and let the bike roll.
May I have your attention, please? Henry Cole is currently
Drive.
on the Paradise Motorcycle Tour stand in
Drive.
Millwall.
Nicely in
Thank
control.
you.
We also teach exercises on the downhills, so you're stopping on the hill, pulling away again. Gravity to get the bike rolling, getting out nice and confident.
Very nice, Chris, very nice. Okay, we've alluded to the fact that these are big bikes. All adventure bikes these days are quite large bikes. About getting familiar with the bike, being able to move it, turn it, walk around it, get the balance points and all that we discussed earlier. What about if you get the bike in an awkward position whereby you're sort of trapped, you're locked in a position? How can you move such a big bike when you really need to turn around the other way, if you like?
It's actually something we hear a lot. We see people sort of looking at these big adventure bikes and go, oh, what a lump. I wouldn't want to try and maneuver something like that. But even with my weight bikes, when you see bikes in an awkward position, you often see people climbing off them, pushing against the seat and fighting with them. I'm quite a lazy person, so I like to put as little effort as possible. We spend a lot of money on motorcycles with a big engine, so we can use the engine and whatever obstacles are around us to get it turned around and out of a tricky situation. So this is obviously fairly artificial, big bank, but imagine if you're in a car parking spot in the supermarket, you're boxed in, you need to turn the bike around. You don't need a bank, you can use a bit of a curb, a wall, a steamer. All we're going to do is we're going to drive the bike forward with the engine and then use whatever obstacle we've got to provide a bit of reverse gear for us. So I'm going to drive the bike up the bank off the clutch, needs a little bit of clutch control, and then roll it back around and turn it. Right up on the clutch, roll it back around and turn it. Again, you can work with a curve or a steamer. And suddenly, with no energy spent, I'm pointing where I want to be going.
Yeah, so that's a small, sort of obvious thing, but it's one of them obvious things that you don't really know until you know it. Do you know what I mean? Until you do it and get towards it.
No, exactly. And by having a go with our bikes, you can practice and get confident in the techniques that you get safety time and energy on your own.
What about you're in a similar situation, but you're in a big, horrible off-camber scenario? Like, up this horrible bit here. What if is it as easy in that scenario?
So if I was the floor, you can see now exactly why that's important. If I try and put one of my little legs down there, I'm going to be upside down and embarrassed pretty quickly. So keeping that foot on the foot peg, you can always go to the high ground. And we teach that over the 2-day course. We kind of really it is so it becomes a natural reaction. Stop, foot down, and then you can sort the situation out. One of the other little things we like doing is we call it door shuffling technique. So I could try and ride the bike out from here. I don't know if you guys would be very happy about that, especially when I end up in the stand over there. So I want to get the bike turned. And again, another technique we use for that. Front brake on. If you're lock to lock with the handlebars, and walk the bike down the hill. And again, I'm pointing the right way, and I haven't had to spend any energy. And more to the point, I haven't had to wrestle with the bike and get myself off balance.
That's a clever little technique. Could you do that? Does that work on any bike?
That works on absolutely any bike, sports bikes, cruisers, choppers, whatever floats your boat. And it works on tarmac as well. Sometimes if you're up in the Peak District on a tricky hairpin and the caravan comes the other way, you end up stuck facing into the traffic. You just roll yourself back a little, lock to lock on those handlebars, and then just push the tyre across the floor, and then you're out.
Nice one, nice one. Now we all know that there's a time when you're off-road, or when you're in the car park in Tesco's on your bike, when you need to get off your bike and walk the bike out of a situation. Yeah?
Yeah, no one really likes walking with their bike. They spend a lot of money to ride it. Not to walk, that's the whole point of them. But sometimes you do. If someone's parked right next to you and you're a bit worried about whacking your handlebar into their mirror, or if you're off-road, you've got stuck halfway over a log, you can't get the tyres to grip and pull over it. Sometimes you're better off climbing off the bike, walking it a few yards, and then getting back on, and it can save you an expensive crash. So all we're going to do again, the same techniques we used earlier. Let the thump on that front wheel, get the bike to come backwards to give us a bit of space, and a bit of momentum. You're just going to walk over. You can get yourself out of any situation like that. Same if there's a downhill you're not sure about, climb off and you can get yourself safely out. Then climb back on the ride on your confidence.
I like the way you get on it, Chris. That's quite cool. That's for a shorter person, is it?
That is, yeah, that's again laziness and short person.
Let's say you go on the circuits, Chris. Let's we put the bike in a more compromising position, do we?
I can find someone more compromising for sure.
Oh, that was a bit scary for the people over there.
Not bad. Heart rate's alright over there.
They didn't even flinch.
They didn't even flinch. Nerves of steel, that lot. Good men. Yes, again, looks pretty scary to be on a big bike in this position, but we teachers is to kind of slow everything down in your head. You go charging into situations like this and panic and pin the throttle, you do end up just over there in the test ride zone, and they get really upset about it. So we're going to stop the bike. What I've done there, I'm not using the brakes or anything. That's just first gear, and it acts as a handbrake. And the bike's now stable and stopped, it's not going to roll away, and I can think about what I'm going to do next. There's a few options here. Option number one, if you've got his mobile number, phone Simon Pavey, ask for help and he'll come and rescue you. If you haven't got his mobile number, you'll have to sort it out yourself. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm just going to take my time, climb off the side of the bike. We're just going to use the same technique we've been using. Roll it backwards slowly on the clutch. Ease it back against compression. Again, all the time, we're not rushing this. As soon as you rush it, that's when it gets harder. Roll it down the slope. And maybe push it forward to a better position to climb back on again. And you're out of a tricky situation with minimal stress.
Very nice, very nice. Give us a couple of circuits for our little finale. Oh, nice. Very good. Little round of applause for Chris, please, guys. So, guys, if you want to find out more about the off-road school, all of the guys are going to be either here or at the BMW stand here. You can ask them about the off-road school. You can ask them about the dates, the calendar, the costs, what you'll learn, what you should do, etc. So, please feel free to ask any of the guys. And also, right throughout the day, we're going to be doing little activities activities here with 3 bikes where you can come in, sign up for an activity, come in and actually have a little play on the bike in terms of balance, in terms of getting familiar with the balance points of the bikes, learning a little bit more about the bike. So please see one of us to sign up for that. There's little events running right through the whole day. Thank you again.
Thanks very much.